everyone, and welcome back to FaxFan, my station all about family and consumer sciences. I'm Katie Evans, and this is my station all about home and career skills since I'm a teacher here in Rochester, New York. So today I'm going to show you the first steps on how to make a hand-sewn pillow. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is iron my fabric, especially if it has some wrinkles in it. So I'm going to unfold it. I've already warmed up my iron. So I'm just going to take a little at a time here, set it on my ironing board, smooth it out. And you just put enough pressure on the fabric and run the iron around it to get out the wrinkles. You don't want to leave the iron in one spot too long because it can burn the fabric. Right, I'm going to rotate it, do the next section. Okay, I can show you a little closer up. All right, go to the next section. See how there's some wrinkles right there? Iron that out. Okay, just a little bit more. So I've ironed it just enough to get the wrinkles out. All right, so one thing to know about fabric is there's two sides to it. There's the side with the pattern, that's called the right side. And there's the opposite side, which is called the wrong side, the side where the pattern's not as prominent. So with this pillow, we're gonna fold the fabric so the right sides are facing towards each other. Just like this. Okay, and then I'm gonna put the pattern on one of the sides. Okay, so I have a 13 by 13 pillow pattern. I'm gonna put the pattern on the opposite side of the folded side because I wanna save this fabric. So I'm gonna put it on the non-folded side, right up here next to this line of fabric. That way I only have to cut two of the sides. And then I'm gonna pin the pattern to the fabric so it's in place while I cut around it. So you're gonna go in through the pattern and both pieces of fabric. I usually do at least all the corners like this. Right, and then I'm gonna cut around it. All right, so I'm just gonna cut along the edge here. Turn, do the opposite way. One more side because I don't want this strip of fabric. Make sure I get a nice even cut. It's a little bit easier with the roller cutter, but we'll just use regular scissors. All right, so if you notice on this pattern, there's two diamonds right here. That indicates the no-sew zone where you're gonna leave it open to stuff the pillow. I just wanted to point that out to you. Otherwise, I'm gonna unpin it, and then I'm gonna repin the pillow pieces together before I sew it. All right, so for pinning your pillow, you need to decide where the bottom of your pillow is gonna be. I'm gonna make it right here. So first thing I'm gonna do is put two pins here and here, where my no-sew zone is going to be. So the no-sew zone, again, is the space you're gonna leave open for stuffing your pillow. So I'm gonna put two pins here, and two pins over here. If you don't have two or enough pins, just put at least one pin there and there. Okay, so I got my two pins. Now for the rest of the sides, I'm just gonna put maybe two pins, or if you don't have enough pins, just one in each side in the middle. So one here, and one on the right side, or my right. Okay, so again, two pins here for the no-sew zone where you're not gonna sew, and then a single pin in the middle over here, or more if you have more pins. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is thread my needle. Remember, you're just gonna take enough thread where it goes from one hand out to the other in a big wingspan. You don't want too much thread at a time because it can get tangled up while you're sewing. So I'm going to take one end of my thread, put it through my needle. I'm gonna bring the two ends of the thread together so then the needle's in the middle of the thread. To do a knot, come around. So there's a couple ways you could do knot. You could just do, a loop and go through, put the ends through the loop. But what I do is I wrap the thread around my index finger twice, then I roll it down my index finger, and I pull to make a nice chunky knot. Okay, then I'll show you how to sew. All right, so for sewing the pillow, I start from the no-sew zone here to the left of these pins, and you're gonna stay about 1/2 inch away from the edge. And you're gonna sew all the way around your pillow till you get to the other pins up here for the no-sew zone. So again, around and end here. Now, as you sew, if you start running out of thread, you wanna leave enough thread to do a knot. So make sure you don't run out of thread while you're sewing. Leave enough for knot, rethread your needle, and keep going. So I'm gonna start up here, and I'm gonna do a straight stitch, but I also recommend doing a back stitch if you want a more secure stitch. So I'm gonna do a stitch here, pull the thread through. Oops. Okay, and I'm just gonna keep stitching along the top here. And try again, keep your stitches nice and even, small, close together, and about 1/2 inch away from the edge of the fabric. You don't want to get too close to the edge because then you could get holes in your pillow along the seam. Okay, so I'm going to go to the corner here and keep going. Okay, so I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to turn my fabric and keep going down this side. All right, so I have been sewing along the top now. So again, you're gonna just keep doing nice, even, small stitches along the next side of the fabric, like this. It's a little difficult for me to do this from this angle, but that's okay. All right. So just keep going along the top there. Now, if you start running out of thread to do a knot, you go in like you're gonna do a stitch, but before you pull this loop closed, you're gonna go through the loop with your needle and then pull it tight. And do the same spot again. Go through the stitch in the same spot, oops, go through the loop, and then pull it tight. Okay, so I'm gonna finish sewing along here and around the pillow, and then I'll show you what to do in the next video.